Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Portfolio Landlord Action Networks, or P.L.A.N for short, inaugural tech exhibition. We're kicking straight off by handing over to P.L.A.N's chairman, Marcus Selman, for his introduction speech.
Thank you very much, Matt. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to P.L.A.N's first Proptech exhibition. P.L.A.N is a new group formed last year with three objectives. One is to bring together landlords, or as we like to call ourselves, home providers, with 75 properties or more to network with each other. The second is to be a new voice for a new deal for home providers. That deal will totally recognise the rights of tenants, but must also acknowledge that we need private landlords. And the third is to share information with all landlords and those who work with landlords about best practice and Proptech. And that's where, of course, this exhibition comes in. We see Proptech as the key to developing home providers who can meet the needs of tenants in a way that works best for them and for the home provider. The problem is there are many different Proptechs in most of the areas that you will be interested in. Take floor plans as an example. Put floor plan software into Google Play Store and see how many come up. How can you choose? That's where we want to help. Firstly, by having regular exhibitions like this one, where software providers will demonstrate their wares and can answer your queries directly, either here or after the show. Secondly, by creating an area on our website, which is landlordportfolio.co.uk, which will have a number of different providers grouped into different areas and become a permanent exhibition space for you to come and browse. We want to curate that space to really try and make clear what each software offers for you. Thirdly, to encourage the development of user groups for each software, so that as a user, you can connect with other users complying with GDPR rules, possibly even users in your areas who you might be able to meet up with and share experiences. Now, I realise this is a very bold vision, and it's going to take some effort and some time to make it come to life. But as they say, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So let us start this journey by my returning you to our host for the evening, Matt Goddard, to introduce the first guest.
Thanks very much, Marcus. So just before we absolutely kick off, on tonight's lineup, to take you through a roll call, we have ARC, a revolutionary online management tool, COHO, the state-of-the-art HMO management system, Kerfuffle, a marketplace for Proptech suppliers, DocuSign, the market leader in e-signatures, and finally, Giraffe 360, a new way to create floor plans, virtual tours. Each slot will be about 10 minutes long with a Q&A section at the end of each one. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments section at the bottom of the screen, and we'll get to each one as we can do. And kicking us off, first and foremost, is going to be Angus Reid of ARC. So I'll hand over to you now, Angus.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Marcus and P.L.A.N for having me. I think it's great to be involved in this, and I think keen to kick off this inaugural Proptech event. So thanks for having us. So as Matt's just said, my name's Angus, and I'm from ARC. And what we do here at ARC is we help landlords, both big and small, manage their properties, be that 1 to 10 properties, 75 to 100, like the people in this group, or even over that, people that might manage hundreds, if not thousands, of properties. And to do that, we have a number of ways which I'd like to chat to you about today. So Matt, it'd be great if we could pull up. So as I've said, we're ARC, and we really want to focus on renting that looks after everyone, both the landlord and the tenant. We feel that at the moment, landlords get a really bad press, and that's not fair. But also we want to make it so that tenants know that they're dealing with a great landlord. And to do that, we want to give landlords all the tools possible to do the best job possible. So on that, I think I just want to give you a quick overview of the sorts of people that here at ARC we're currently working with. And I think I want to kick off by just moving on, but this doesn't appear to be changing. So this is who we're working with currently. So we're looking to become a trusted partner to a range of landlords. And as I've just mentioned, that's both big and small. So if we look at people like Urban Splash and Pinnacle Group, they manage hundreds and thousands and thousands in Pinnacle's case properties. But we also work with much smaller landlords as well, who might be part of a landlord association or a group like P.L.A.N. But on top of that, we also integrate with other providers who are doing a great job. So building managers like RMG, maintenance providers like Fixflow, or CRM systems like Salesforce. Arc really sits on the top of that and primarily is for the resident and for the landlord, but to also work in partnership and alongside other systems rather than instead of. So what is Arc? So as I've alluded to here, Arc has two sides to it. One is Arc Enterprise, and the other one is Arc, the self-service dashboard. So we'll run into the self-service dashboard in a second, but that is for as I say, for landlords who might want to manage 1 to 100 properties, where Arc Enterprise is very much focused at institutional level landlords. Given the makeup of this group, I know we have a combination of both, and I know the people are watching this either live or watching it at a later date on YouTube. There'll be landlords who are a bit of both, either the Arc's more applicable for, or the Arc Enterprise is applicable for. So for the purpose of this call, I'd like to run through both and give you a quick overview of the two things that we do and go into that in a little bit more detail. So to start off with, I think it'd be great to tell you a little bit more about how we support the buy-to-let landlords. So landlords who might have between 1 and 100 homes. So really what we do is we want to take away the hassle of managing those properties, especially take away the hassle of compliance. We want to make sure that that's done at a low cost. For example, the product that I'm just about to show you is completely free to start off with. And also we want to help establish a kind of best practice. And that's why when we're speaking to Marcus, we see ourselves as really aligned to P.L.A.N in that aspect. We want to make sure that landlords are offering a great service, but also show everyone else that landlords do care and are offering a good service. And that I want to be a differentiator for the really professional landlord that's doing a great job. So to show you how we do support buy-to-let landlords with our free product. So our free product is Arc Compliance, and this is our landing page. So I'm just going to log in now, just using Facebook. So you can just click a button to sign in with Facebook, and we jump into our compliance software. So here you can store all your homes, and we list all the key compliance items that you might need in that home. So these are all the compliance items that you obviously need to share with your tenant, but also that you need to have in place before you can rent out your home. So as I say, it's nice and easy to use, and we want to make sure that it's as easy as possible. So just to show you how this works, I'll quickly add a home while we're on together so we can see how easy that is. So I've got a few flats in this block, so I'm just going to add another flat to the couple that I've already got. So we can see that it's auto-filled the apartment I'm looking for. We can send that and we can save that home onto Arc. Once it's saved onto Arc, we then move into the process of adding some compliance documents to that home. So the first one is our EPC. Now, we're not going to ask you to upload that because we can find that for you. So what we'll do is we'll just select the home we're looking for. So we're looking for 28 Montague. We can confirm, and we can see that we've found your EPC as it's available online. We can then add that EPC, and boom, 1 down, 5 to go. And then it's a case of just adding the other documents in. If you want to get reminded via text when these documents need renewing, we can add a phone number in here. But if not, we can just close that and we ask you for your other documents. So you can then upload these documents at a time convenient to you. If now's not a good time, you can set a reminder here and we'll remind you when you want to come back and do them. So it's nice and easy. We can open up here. We can click on any of these. For example, we didn't find an EPC for this home, so we can just add a document here. This is any document that you have on your computer. So we can add any document in here that we want. So that's how simple it is to add a compliance document. When those compliance documents are due for renewal, we'll send you a notification both by text and via email a couple of months out, and then as we approach the date, once it's renewed, we'll leave you alone again until it's time to renew. The other thing that we include as part of our free-to-use service is our tenancy agreement generator. So here we can click into the tenancy agreement tab, and we can see that we've generated a couple. So if we click into apartment 27, we can see here that we've generated a tenancy agreement for this home, but these tenancy agreements are fully editable. So we can see here that this is tenancy agreement for apartment 27. We have one tenant on there so far, but we missed out on our tenants. So we'll just add one of our tenants in here. And then what we can do is we can just save and generate, and that resaves that agreement. What we can also do is we can send these agreements for digital signing, all again from within ARC. So if we move across to the signing tab, we can select agreements we want to send for signing and send for signing. For the purpose of the demo, I won't go into that, but what we do is we just click send for signing here, and that will send an email to the tenant and allow them to sign the document. Then that'll then send the signed document to the landlord and allow them to digitally sign as well. That's just done at a click of a button, and the agreement is bound. What's great about this is the agreement's completely editable. We use a template, but everything that you input here is then inputted into the template here, and we can see that the tenants that we've just included are already on the document here. So it's an immediate custom tenancy agreement just with a few clicks. So this is the main point of our free-to-use software, and we have new features coming all the time. But then also, I did mention that we also have a product that's for the bigger landlord as well, and that's all around enhancing resident experience. Now, what that is, that's a landlord dashboard and corresponding tenant app, and that's all about providing the tenant a one-stop shop for all of their needs that they could need as part of their tenancy. So that's having a one-to-one end-to-end encrypted messaging service from the landlord to the tenant. That's about providing a community newsfeed with news about their local area, events that are coming up, offers that might be in local shops, local restaurants, but also a way to report maintenance issues, either directly to the landlord or with a separate maintenance provider, such as Fixflow, who we're a supported and integrated partner with. And that's what our app's for. That's been used by some of the biggest landlords in the UK already, one of whom is Urban Splash. So in a subset of their portfolio, they have about 194 homes, and we've been live across them for the past year. We have 70% of residents using ARC within those 194 homes. We've exchanged 522 messages. We've shared 211 files, and we've had 562 community updates across those homes. This shows that we can really pull communities together, and where you have a block of flats, or if you have an area where you have multiple flats, we can pull that all into one area and start introducing residents to each other and making sure that they feel safe, happy, and comfortable in their community. And that's something that's super important to us as well, is it is giving landlords tools to do a great job. But as I say, this is much more focused at larger landlords who do have properties at scale, all in the same place. And more than happy to talk about that in more detail with anyone. But that's the two halves of what we do here at ARC. And then finally, I think I just wanted to give you an overview of our team. So we're a relatively new business, but we have been going for the last couple of years. We've got a really strong founding team here with a really strong bunch of investors. What we're keen to do is continue to grow ARC, continue to do what we think is a good job in helping landlords have some growing, and especially in partnership with people like P.L.A.N. So I think it'd be great to see if anyone has any questions on that, and then we can go from there. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Angus. I think we've started to lose your mic a little bit at the end there, but got some questions coming in already. Before we go into those, Marcus, I know you're lurking in the background. We've had Real Estates have said, "Evening, everyone. Any other P.L.A.N members online at the moment?" So we'll chuck that up now, see if anyone else wants to come into the comment sections and give their feedback from there. So Angus, one question here. How do you see ARC developing over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we want to do is we want to be a truly customer-led product and a customer-led business. So what we see ourselves doing is now we have a really good initial product, but what we want to do is we want to engage with the customers using ARC. We have almost 8,000 homes utilizing ARC already, and what we're keen to do is listen to those customers that are using it and continue to grow, but grow by listening to our users, listening to our customers, rather than just creating tools that we think are good that aren't of interest to landlords. So that's really what we want to do: listen to our customers and build the most helpful tool possible.
Interesting. I think maybe associated to that, this next question that's coming out: how can P.L.A.N members get involved?
Yeah, brilliant. So what we really would love to hear is from P.L.A.N members who have been looking for software but actually don't have out there what it is that they want and they need. So what I think the benefit that we have here at ARC is all of our tech is built in-house. We're a tech company first, and most of our employees are developers and programmers. So what we can do is we can be very reactive to new feature requests, and we can be very reactive to good ideas. So if anyone is currently having an issue, which they just wish a piece of software existed for, given how we're set up, we're perfectly able to adjust and adapt to that, especially if it's a request that we're getting from a lot of our customers. So we'd love to hear from P.L.A.N members, any frustrations they're having, any issues they're having, so that we can create the best product possible.
Brilliant. Angus, that's absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much for your time.
No problem at all. Thanks, Matt.
No problem at all. And we're now moving over to Helen Turner. Helen's one of the co-founders of COHO, and one of the 4 co-founders and responsible for the business growth. So Helen, over to you.
Hi, Matt. Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here today. So, yes, I am one of the co-founders at COHO. I joined the team just about 15 months ago when we launched COHO, so it is fairly new. COHO is the new and exciting property management software that finally works really well for managing HMOs. So let's face it, I'm still yet to meet a single landlord who came into property for the love of admin. I don't think it's something that people actually come into property for at all. And there's never really been any property management software before COHO that was built specifically for the to address the more complex needs of managing multiple occupancy homes. To date, we have about 4,000 tenants under management on the COHO platform, and our customers are reporting a 99% tenant sign-up rate on the COHO app. So that's really good. But the key thing about COHO is bringing all of your property information and your tenant information into one place to create efficiencies and to enable both parties to collaborate with each other whenever needed. So we've created within COHO workflows for both parties so that nothing can get missed. It's easy to know where everything is, which tenant is staying in which room, and what needs to be done next. So having launched COHO not long ago, at the beginning, we were just thinking, right, this is a solution for the everyday landlord, perhaps with, a few properties, starting to think about growth, who haven't really had the tools to help them scale their businesses properly and professionalize their businesses. But surprisingly, certainly over the last 6 months or so, since we've been making a lot of noise across social media, we have actually attracted quite a few independent HMO specialist management agencies with hundreds of tenants. So our client base is anything from sort of 12 tenants all the way through to just over 300 tenants. So we do have independent, just owner landlords as well, that have 200 students that they're managing themselves. So just to give you an idea of who our customers are. So our customers all have a handful of things, I would say, in common. I'm just going to share my screen now because I do actually have prepared a presentation for you. So if everyone can see that. So our customers have a few things in common. First of all, that they are thinking about growth. They have a growth plan and they envisage how their tasks will multiply by 5 or 6 times every time that they add a new property onto their portfolio. They fear losing control when growing the team to delegate tasks and want to look for a system that's easy to use, that is user-friendly. They recognise that by providing a better customer service that can equal to happier tenants who perhaps will stay for longer, which is a win-win for both parties. They've been looking for a suitable software for some time now. This is quite common, what I'm hearing. Some have admitted that they've been looking for something for years. Finally, they also worry about not having the amount of time and headspace to implement new software. This last point is really important. If this is your sticking point, then we do actually have a really simple solution. We came up with this from, listening to customers and who were excited about using COHO, but just, never got round to implementing it and getting started. So we have a fast track team, which is dedicated to transferring all of your information from your legacy, either software or other things that you might be using, like Excel spreadsheets and documents that have been saved on Google Drive, for example, and then setting up your COHO account with you. It's a very much a hand-holding exercise that we do. And that just means that you don't have to take the time away from your staff, and you can carry on doing the bits that you enjoy as well. And then leading to you getting productive quickly on COHO. One of our customers' favourite features is a 6-step onboarding process, which is really a workflow, as you can see here on the screen. Because your tenants are invited onto COHO, you can work with them through each of the steps, from taking the holding fee to filling in the application form, which is something that you have flexibility over. You can add your own questions, for example, and all the way to e-signing the AST. We have built our own e-signature feature. So the tenants do have a signature launchpad that comes up on the app when they're on this process. And a really clever part of this workflow is that because when you're setting up your property on COHO, you've already uploaded all of your safety documents, so all of your compliance certificates. And within the onboarding process, before the tenant is able to launch the AST and sign it, we pull those across for you, and so then serve those compliance documents for you, and we make sure that the documents, each one of them, are acknowledged by the tenant before they're able to sign the AST. Maintenance management is kept in its own section, which is really helpful within the communication centre on COHO. Tenants have a formal process to report any issues and don't need to chase you for the progress, as when you update them, they can actually see that on their dashboard. They can add pictures for evidence when they're reporting those issues, and they can send, you can send communication to the household as well as to individuals instead of using WhatsApp. For example, when you're requesting for access to the property for repairs work to be done. So that's quite useful. So rent collection is a massive pain point for many landlords that we speak to. It's hard to keep track of what's being paid, by who, what's overdue, and then to remember who to chase across your portfolio. So we make this super easy for you to manage on COHO, as you can see on the screen. This feature lets you auto generate a rent schedule for each tenant. This can happen at the point of onboarding a new tenant. We calculate the top and tail amounts where appropriate. So for example, if you're collecting rent on certain dates, and you're also able to notify tenants when you're expecting rent and it's late, for example. Our users also find being able to view a rent statement across the entire portfolio quite useful as well. So yes, there are, if I have a few minutes, I'm going to jump into a live demo just to show you a quick glance so you can kind of get an experience of what it looks like. But if you wanted to explore COHO further, there are 3 easy ways. You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm very active on social media. So if you want to look for my handle, it is Helen Turner COHO. The next sort of probably best thing to do is to jump into the instant demo, which is what I'm about to show you. The link to that is coho.live/management. Just make sure that you click onto the button that says test drive and you'll get instant access there. And the third option is fairly new. We have Claire Hall, who is our customer manager. She is organising regular demo sessions on a weekly basis, really. So you can get the link. I can copy and paste the link across in the messages shortly, but you can book a demo session with Claire. So I'm just going to quickly switch screens now. If you can see this, just to give you a quick idea of what COHO looks like, as you can see, we've aimed for something that is quite easy to look at. Everything is organized in a linear sort of fashion, but you can open and close each of the sections to do the tasks that you want. Now, the thing about COHO is that we provide a quick access area where these buttons will lead you to the various areas that you want to work on. But the thing that is really good about COHO is that the way that we organize our portfolio. So here, for example, you've got all of your 3 properties. You can click into a certain property and you can see that the quick access buttons expands because inside a property, you all of a sudden have more things that you have to manage. And for example, you've got your safety certificates, you've got your tenant fine section, and I've got, I could talk on for a long time about all of these features, but I'm not going to go into any details, but just wanted to give you an idea. And then you can see within the property, obviously the rooms are organized and how we have used the information that you can upload onto COHO. So we know the tenancy beginning and end dates. You can see who's connected to your account. And if you were to click into a tenant, then you can see obviously more information about the tenancy. You can also, the good thing about COHO is that we allow the tenants to create a little profile on themselves as well. So yes, other tenants can actually see who else is in that house. So for example, if you've got a room that you're marketing at the moment, once they are signed into COHO, they can actually see who's in the house. There's also the rent collection, which is a section where you can track all of your rents. So I'm going to jump out now and wrap up there, I think.
Wonderful. Helen, that was brilliant. We've got a comment that came in from Jason Harris Cohen. Just throw it up at the bottom there. So it looks great. Obviously very pleased with your demo. And we've got a question just come in with relation to does it connect to bank accounts?
That's a really good question. So the quick answer to that, because we are fairly new, not yet, but it's absolutely on our roadmap, which is about to launch, I would say soon. I'm not going to commit to a time frame, but we do actually have a new financial suite that we are about to launch in 3 phases. The first phase, as I showed you, we have the rent collection module. We will complete that with the ability to log expenses as well. So then that will give you the full picture of the performance within the property. So we're really excited about creating a dashboard to show the performance for the property. Next up will be the bank feeds integration. To be honest, phase 1 is 80% of the work. Then the rest of it should come in fairly quickly. Bank feeds is really great because it does mean that we can then put some automation in there. For example, reconciling your financial aspects of the property. So that's really exciting.
Excellent.
And coming
Helen,
soon.
Yeah, thanks very much for your time, Helen. Much appreciated. So next up we have remove myself. There we go, much better. There you go, Dave. You jinxed me. So Dave's got 24 years worth of experience at the coalface of the estate agency industry, both in London and Manchester, and he's a real passionate advocate of our industry. So Dave, I'll let you kick off and tell us all about Kerfuffle.
Thank you very much. Hi, good evening, everybody. It's great to be with you. Proptech is sort of our thing. It's what we do. I'm just going to take you through Kerfuffle as a concept and how we might be able to help. So let's just pop this on here. Okay, here we go. What is Kerfuffle? So very commonly asked question. Kerfuffle was created by Simon Whale, who is a previous colleague of Matt Goddard's, but had many years at Reid and well-known name in the CRM space. I think what we acknowledge at Kerfuffle is that as a PropTech marketplace out there, there are well over 650 suppliers out there. A lot of them are excellent, and a lot of them overlap. A lot of them do have similar products. They might not all be the correct fit for your business or for the type of property company that you run. And we're keen to sort of try and match you up with the best suppliers effectively at the best prices. So Kerfuffle offers that marketplace as a one-stop shop. You'll find all the biggest names in PropTech solutions on our site. We help agents and suppliers every day find each other. There is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to do that for larger property managers and property groups as well. From the supplier side, it's very clear we earn our money by making referrals to suppliers. And so they obviously pay us as well for exposure. We have a number of different free resources that we offer to anybody that's trying to research their next PropTech buy. We run a lot of webinars and different pieces of content that will tell you precisely what those suppliers offer and how they might be able to help your businesses. Focusing on partners, people, and process, we are there to sort of hook you up with those partners at the right price. We also offer a training platform. Our vision has always been to sort of offer as much training as we can. And we like to call it the agency version of Netflix, and that just basically helps people top up any of their training that they might need and any aspect of property management and property in general, and so that is there on tap for our members. How can we help you practically? So let's say you're not currently in the market for PropTech products. You may just want to use us as a really sort of useful resource. So you can take advantage of our contract vault to store all your T's and C's in one place. So typically we have a lot of different e-signing documents. All of us carry those. They're in they may be in an email folder. We're going to give you the ability to put those all in one place. We can also reduce your spend by using those contract renewal dates to your advantage. So we'll remind you when a contract is about to be renewed so that you can just reassess whether or not that relationship's working for you and whether it's delivering value. We help you to manage and constantly review your tech stack, and just to see that it best suits the needs of your business. Let's face it, your businesses are constantly evolving, and the sort of tech products that may have got you to where you are today might not get you to where you want to be in a couple of years' time. So it's about constantly reviewing that and just making sure that you know what might be new out there, what might add value, what may overlap, and just trying to sort of make sense of all of that noise for you. We will also give you access to a repository of insider sentiment towards industry suppliers. So we collect NPS scores and ratings from other people that are using those suppliers, and you can work out whether or not those suppliers are going to be the ones to carry through for you. You get to use us really as that sounding board. We all have agency experience, and we all are able to sort of give you our take on what you need to be using, and maybe even streamlining your processes. So we would have a look at that for you as well on a consultancy basis if that was of interest to you. This is a typical screenshot of our supplier dashboard. So you can see everything is nicely laid out there, and it gives you just one place to log into, and you can manage all of your Proptech relationships in one place. And like I say, that is completely free to everybody, and always will be. And so if you do nothing else with us, you can use us to manage your Proptech in general. How important is that wow factor? What we acknowledge here in this little diagram is that we all understand what it takes to deliver a decent core service and what tenants expect as a basic minimum. But we also look at how that is evolving, and expectations change over the years. My colleague Richard Durant is really fond of using his car analogy. If you were going to buy a new car 30 years ago, you would expect it to have a steering wheel. It may even come with a seatbelt as an optional extra. But today you've got your 360 cameras and all the other bits of tech that go with it. So in terms of what people expect today from their property managers, they're expecting a lot more, and we need to keep up with that. So we acknowledge that you need to keep on top of your basic offering, and then start to have a look at those nice to have and that perceived value as that number two. But then also, if you're able to go that one step further and actually wow them, you're going to retain tenants for a lot longer. You're going to get a lot of good feedback, and it's also how you grow your portfolio in just a more structured way. And I think it's always good to push the boundaries of customer service. So we concentrate on helping you to get number one absolutely right, and then once we've moved on from there, we look at what it might look like to provide a wow customer service as well. All of these questions you'll see on these slides in terms of different areas of Proptech that people will be looking at are questions that people who are assessing Proptech products will be asking every day. So typically, if you're moving CRM systems, for instance, you'll be looking at cost, data migration, training, downtime. You've got a lot of questions to which we have the answers. So we are able to take you through different suppliers and different solutions, and really sort of try and match them up with your the needs of your business at that particular time. So we do this successfully for agents pretty much every day of the week, and we look forward to being able to help landlords do that as well.
Excellent, Dave. That's brilliant. I think key for me really, and one thing that I was really interested with sort of portfolios is that supplier dashboard, and the point I think you made is that you can add in your own suppliers, and it doesn't have to just be Proptech or something to do with lettings. It could be anywhere across your portfolio. So Marcus has talked in the past about sort of entry access and other things that you might have contracts and technology with or relationships with. Really good way of seeing them all in one place, monitoring and working through. So just on that, Dave, before I let you go, and I bring up Chris from DocuSign, just really importantly on the landlord's point of view, how can Kerfuffle help those landlords make those right decisions?
So yeah, so if landlords are at that point in their business where they think that their processes may become more efficient by introducing a certain piece of software, if they're looking to save time, if they're looking to increase the number of properties that a single employee can manage, because we all get to that point where there's that breaking point, isn't there, where we're doing really, really well, but we need to sort of gear up in terms of staff in order to keep on top of the inquiries coming in, the repairs, payment processing, whatever it may be, whichever aspect. We will allow landlords access basically to a range of different solutions that might actually help their employees and their team manage more and more efficiently.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. It just popped up there briefly as well. Team Vaboo, which sounds like something from an 80s kids TV show. Thinks that looks great. That
I have to just comment on that. Vaboo are fantastic, and it's a great way of building loyalty with your tenant base.
I feel like I need to kick you off this show. Dave, thanks very much for your time. Right, so that was Dave from Kerfuffle. Next up, we've got Chris Davis, who I'll add in now. He's joining us from DocuSign. Chris has been with DocuSign for, I think, 5 years and specialises within the lettings industry with there. So, Chris, I'll pass over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt. And thanks, Marcus, for allowing us to join today. I have to do an early apology. I actually caught COVID yesterday, so I'm a little bit bunged up. So hopefully you can understand me with my Irish accent as well.
Can you put your mask on, please, Chris?
Sorry?
Put your mask on.
Yeah. We're all 2 meters away here, so we're okay. I'm just going to share my screen here. No. Perfect. So today, really, what I'm just going to speak you through to is just getting started with e-signature. So it's very much, you know, an early kind of entry stage, and it's just about how you can get started and save time and money with e-signature. So as Matt alluded to, my name is Chris. I'm an account executive in DocuSign, and I've been with them for 5 years now. And the last 14 months has been dedicated specifically to the real estate industry, and that's on the lettings and on the sales side. So really, I've been working to sign up new customers who are new to the whole idea of e-signature, and also working with current customers on how to get the best from the solution. So a little bit of an agenda, just I'm going to be talking about what the DocuSign Agreement Cloud is and the value that it can give you and your business. And following that, I'll run through the actual short demonstration of the product. So I'd like to set the stage a little, just to give you an introduction into DocuSign, for those that may not be familiar with kind of the broad scheme that we have. The majority of you may have heard of us as an e-signature, and I imagine that's what you're here for today. But in more recent years, we've expanded as an organization to offer solutions that allow us to prepare, to sign a document, to act on that document, and to also manage it. And it's something that we call the DocuSign Agreement Cloud. So our Agreement Cloud offers 13 plus solutions. There's over 300 integrations to systems such as Salesforce, Microsoft, Google's, and they also have integrations with systems you may already know, like Rentman, and they're soon to hit the market is Repit. And we also have powerful APIs that can be connected into bespoke programs that you may already use. So today, we're just going to look at that signing piece, so just the e-signature of the Agreement Cloud. So we actually look at the whole business running on agreements, and we like to point out how many agreements there are in businesses, and I think the last two speakers have alluded to all the different types of agreements that you guys deal with day in, day out. So agreements are the foundation of doing business, essentially. Like the sales contracts, tenancy agreements, guarantor forms. Then if you look at your other side of the business, there might be employment offers, you know, NDAs, vendors agreements. So that there's hundreds of types of agreements touching every business function. So the cost of doing this workload manually is big. So we recently did a Forrester study, and we asked organizations about challenges they face due to manual processes. And you can see it's quite substantial. 48% cited they experienced delays due to errors and missing information. 41% cited a poor customer experience, and 39% cited delays in routing and obtaining signatures in the correct order. So this is really has a profound impact on organizations. So DocuSign e-signature can help you do that by fixing this, by enabling you to automate sending and signing workflows with e-signature in 3 different ways. So by helping you reduce agreement preparation time, and you can do that through things like templates and bulk send, which we'll touch on in a minute. You can enable you to generate on-demand self-service documents for signature through a product which is called Powerform. So that can be embedded directly in portals or on your websites. And lastly, you can automate the routing and approvals. And that can be done actually by conditional routing as well. So you can specify who signs and who countersigns, for internal signatories as well. So with DocuSign e-signature, we actually feel the following features we wanted to showcase you and talk a little bit more, because we feel like they're probably the most widely used ones within your industry. So as you're working busily through agreements, there's always a certain standard document that gets sent out for signature repeatedly, whether it's a tenancy agreement, a sales contract, guarantor forms, and setting up all the necessary fields onto those documents can be incredibly cumbersome and time consuming. So that's why we have templates. It's probably one of our most basic features, but it's really, really powerful. So you can save time by eliminating repeatable tasks with templates. So you can create a standard document with any supported file types, with set recipients and recipient roles, and also what fields they need to interact with on a document. A template can include multiple fields and can be sent to one or more recipients as well. So you can use templates as they are, or you can use it as a template as a starting point for your document and tailor it for your needs. Templates aren't the only way to help save time. Bulk send can be really, really beneficial as well. So the DocuSign bulk send feature allows user to send one document to multiple recipients with ease, even with pre-populated fields in that document. And it eliminates the alternative to templates, which is sending the same agreement separately to hundreds of recipients. You can actually do this up to 1,000 recipients at a time. By leveraging the bulk send feature, organizations can not only decrease the amount of time it takes to send a standardized document to multiple recipients, they also reduce administrative inefficiencies and errors and improve the user experience for both recipients and senders. All you have to do is to prepare a CSV file with the recipients and envelope information, and then you upload that into your template and you just click send. So every person receives their own individual document. So the ways of using this are quite limitless. One of the ways that we help support an intuitive signing experience is with our recently launched SMS delivery. So this is a new way to connect with, employees, tenants, landlords, and you can enhance email notifications with real-time SMS notifications, which is sent directly to signers' mobile devices. With this functionality, you can reach signers globally via SMS. When signers receive a text message, they can simply click the link and get into the signing workflow. And for senders, for you guys, you can get full information on that text message that you've sent, as you would with our emails as well. So I wanted to touch on the legality today, as it is often one of the first questions we get asked about. So it is perhaps better framed as being about enforceability. In other words, if my agreement was legally challenged, will my use of e-signature in this situation help ensure an enforceable agreement? At the end of the day, a signature is merely evidence of the intent of a party to be bound by that terms of the agreement. So if we look at this from the perspective of the evidence that an e-signature provides, DocuSign makes it really easy for you to enforce compliance with regulations and business policies. A complete audit trail in the form of a certificate of completion is automatically generated and stored for each transaction. This is a court admissible evidence of who did what, when, and where in the signing process. You can use agreement templates to ensure as well that every user within the organization follows the standard workflow for getting approvals and signatures and ensuring that the most up-to-date document is used. Now, so rather than me talking about this, let's have a quick look at it in action. So I'm just going to give you an idea. So I work at Tally Property Management, and I need to send a guarantee form for signature to both a tenant, Claire, and a landlord, Ted. So I've prepared a document in Word already, which I only need to drag and drop into DocuSign. This creates a new envelope, which I can now configure quickly and easily. I have my document and I could upload more documents if needed to. I'll just move on and confirm the recipients of the envelope. So Claire will be my tenant who will sign first, and Ted will be my landlord. And you'll see that they both need to sign, so it's showing needs to sign. And I also want someone internal, so Anna, my assistant, and she will receive a copy of the document to trigger other processes. So you can see it says receives a copy. I'm going to then add a quick message for the recipients and move on to the next step. So most of the information in the document is already there. So I will use DocuSign fields that the signers will need to complete. So Claire will need to sign, and I will also need DocuSign to display her name and the date of signature. As for Ted, he will only need to sign this here. So you can see it was very simple and quick to create this envelope, and I can now send it for signature. And now, just very quickly, we're going to have a quick look at the signing process. So Claire has received a notification from me via DocuSign. She knew I would send her the document today and can clearly see that it comes from our company, Tally. She reads my message and clicks on the link to open the envelope. So everything, as she's going to get a chance to review the document. Now, once she continues, and then she can apply her signature. So you've got a few different options. She can select a different style of signature if she wants, or she can draw her signature. And we also give a final option of uploading a photograph of your real signature. So she adopts her signature, and that is her signature applied to the document, and she can now finish the signing ceremony. So Ted will receive this straight after an email notification, the exact same as what we've just seen, and we've just excluded that because it's the exact same step here. So the envelope is considered complete after all signers have signed, and the signers will receive a copy of the signed agreement by email automatically. So back in here, so I can keep track of all the envelopes and signatures at any stage. I can see all my envelopes and their statuses, if they've been completed or if they're still in process of being signed. I can also open any envelope and jump inside it, get an update, and then I can download the completed documents. So I'll obtain two documents. So there's the signed agreement, and there's also the certificate of completion, which we discussed earlier about the legality. So this is the court admissible document that summarizes all the important information of the transaction, like the details, the sender, signer, name, email address, IP address, and even the date and time of signature. So we actually get more proof of a signature with DocuSign than we would with pen and paper. So that's a quick overview of DocuSign from a very simple send, sign, manage, and also from the signing perspective.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks very much for that. I had one comment come in here from a certain Mr. Gary Barker, who made the point, I bet digital signatures will save a huge amount of time with tenancy agreements. Cue Matt Goddard, I think that's me, saying exactly how much time. That's referenced the anecdote I've bored Gary with on a number of occasions where when we introduced electronic signatures back in 2009, we had a deal, went from under offer to exchange with contracts and payment in within 9 minutes with 5 tenants and 2 landlords. It was a pretty impressive show of it, and that's while legalities were still being discussed. So, Chris, thanks very much for that. Appreciate you joining us. I think the questions, one of the questions we had in was about branding, but you covered that off right at the end there, so that looked great. Thanks very much. Yeah. And last but by no means least, we've got Frederic Benisti going to be joining with one of the multiple spellings we've got for his name in the various advertising. So, Frederic, it's over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Matt, and pleasure to be here at this inaugural event. As David Mintz at Kerfuffle alluded to earlier, using the wow factor, well, I'm hoping that I can do that today by essentially showing you one of the most simple to use tools, but with one of the most highest quality outputs as well that anyone in the world can really use. So the reason why I'm here today is to show you this Giraffe 360 camera. Typically, obviously, you know, a lot of landlords, some rent out their own properties, some go through agents, some go through management companies, whatever it may be. But ultimately, we do know that having seen historical data, seeing a lot of agents don't actually do quite a bit of marketing for lettings. It's quite a surprise. We see, you know, a lot of listings, vast majority of listings, I should say, without floor plans. And I understand that, you know, in a busy market like at the moment where property is flying off the shelf, ultimately agents see it as a way to, you know, photos. The property will go before it even gets viewed more than 2 or 3 times. But what we do here is essentially bridge the gap between someone doing their own photography or an agent doing their photography for you, whether it be on their mobile phone or what have you, or getting your own professional photographer or anything of the sort. We actually give you this proprietary built camera. Built into the top of this camera is a high precision and high quality Sony HDR lens. It is a contract lens that professional photographers wish they could get, and they can do on the basis that they order significant volumes of them in one go. But at the same time, built into this little component here is a LiDAR laser. It is a high accuracy measuring laser that does 200,000 points of measure all in the space of around 14 seconds. The point I'm making is that you can take full control of your own marketing assets here by pressing one of 2 buttons. Still photography over here, which does 3 different types of wide angles, 100 to 120 degrees, all the way through to the 3D scan button here, where you simply place the camera roughly in the middle of the room, and it does a floor plan accurate to 2% error variance on average, and it does the world's highest quality virtual tour of a camera of its kind. So to be honest with you, you can see here, very, very simple aspect to use. We built this ourselves using multiple different components. So like I said, Sony, trusted brand, top quality photography. But by taking this control into your own hands, you can essentially use all this marketing material, work it with the managing agents or the management company that are doing your listings, work it with the estate agents that are running your listings or managing your portfolio, or even run it completely yourself. And we don't charge for hosting or anything like that. So depending on the number of listings that you do a year, we have different packages to suit. But what this will do is it will cover you for photos, floor plans, and virtual tours. So if I take you through over to, one moment, sorry, I'm going to share my screen. And here we are. One more page along. So this is the dashboard that our users, our clients get when using the Giraffe 360. Quite simply put, your photos, your floor plans, and your virtual tours are all broken up into 3 easy, useful components. You download your floor plans, keep and use them forever. Download your photography, keep and use them forever. And your virtual tour is hosted here for you. So this gives you a full walkthrough of the property. So if we use this one, for example, 2-bedroom flat in this particular property, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points of 11 3D scans were taken. This takes approximately 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending. The brighter it is, the faster it is. The quality of the virtual tour, as you can see here, is clearly unrivaled. Doesn't give you the fishbowl effect. Nice and clear, nice and straight lines, and gives you a true aspect of the property. Now, this is obviously just for public viewing, advertising, but this actually comes in 2 ways. This is the virtual tour directly. If I take you back to this dashboard, you will actually see here this button over here called the remote viewing. What remote viewing does is it essentially brings you into a sort of like a Zoom conference or a streaming conference, apologies, whereby you can invite any particular or any person who's interested in viewing the property onto this viewing, where you can show them around the property, and you can also give them control so that they can walk around while you watch and while you take them through. So this is an overview of the remote viewing feature. Once again, if I lastly go back here, you can see small house here. We give you the floor plans in multiple dimensions. We give you the ground floor, we'll give you each floor separately, and we'll give you the combined total, along with branding should you desire. Photography as a whole, inside, outside, no need to worry about blue skies or anything like that. We take care of everything. And also as the fact that we use HDR, whether it's light or dark, we make it nice and bright for you. What we're allowing you to do here is essentially have the highest quality professional photography without the need for a professional photographer. You do all of that by using the camera, and we do all your editing by having over 80 editors on site who build your floor plans, build your virtual tours, do all your editing, and deliver it all back to you in 24 to 48 hours. So while everybody shows you these wonderful products, I didn't need to take up too much of your time to show you exactly what we do and how we do it.
Freddie, that's brilliant. I really got the ooze going when you made it do all its things earlier. Is it really that simple?
Really, the concept was born out of Latvia by a couple of brothers. They built a small boutique marketing agency that do high-end photography, high-end plans for hotels, large hotel chains, luxury hotel chains, and high-end real estate. What they saw from that opportunity was actually if they could take a camera, which gives the same sort of quality of the technology that they were using. The problem is those cameras have 20, 30 different dials on them with all these different settings and exposure. And I'm not a photographer. I have nothing to do with it. I know nothing about photography other than how to use this camera, if I'm honest, and my iPhone. That's as far as my photographic skills go. So by taking a lens that had all this ability, by getting also a measuring tool such as the LiDAR laser and configuring their own software behind it, which will allow the lens to recognize what sort of lighting is needed, what sort of angles are needed, and putting it into two simple buttons. If they could build something like that, that would mean that anyone, whether it be an agent, whether it be a photographer, whether it be a property owner themselves, can use this tool to capture the highest quality marketing material without needing to actually pay that premium for having a professional photographer.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's great, Freddie. Thanks very much for your time. Much appreciated.
Pleasure.
And with that, that comes back to our last presenter. So I'll be bringing Marcus back into the stream for his closing remarks. And thanks, Marcus. That's over to you.
Okay. Well, just first of all, thank you everybody for 5 really great presentations, really insightful and really helpful to understand your product. Thank you to Angus, David, Helen, Chris, and Frederic. I think this was great and a really great start to what I hope will become a regular event. And also, as I say, will also feature on the website where these products and others will be displayed. So I just hope that everyone who's either watched it or watches this recording, which is going to be on YouTube so that others can access it, enjoys the experience. And if they do want to pursue any of the products, then all the links to enable you to contact the people who spoke today will be online. And I'd also obviously like to finish by thanking Matt for being a great host, for operating StreamYard so effectively and making the whole presentation experience, in my view, really professional. I think that's it, really. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.